Hello and welcome to podcast number 2 of Punk You. I'm workshopping the
Punk
title.
You
This is Punk You 2, and I am the doorstop here, and I have the honor of welcoming these old Las Vegas punks, the Atomic Gods.
Oh my God!
Yay! Thank you for having us, Jimmy.
Thank you very much, Richard. So if you'd like to go around and introduce yourself, especially to the people who have never even heard of you.
Okay, I'm Sean Sloan. I play guitar in the Atomic Gods.
I'm Richard Gibson. I'm the singer of the Atomic Gods. Sean was the founder of the band. He's the one. It was his concept originally. Also known as Dick Whiplash on KUNV.
I'm the drummer, Alan Strong. No, I'm actually the replacement bass player for George, who's the original bass player. My name's Jeff Murphy.
George Gentekos, yeah, he's the original.
And speaking of Dick Whiplash, that's how I first met you. When I first started at KUNV, I came in right, my first show was like in January, and it came right after lunch with the PMRC.
Okay.
And then that's how I met you and Jerry. And of course, I was supposed to have Brett there and guide me, and I was a fish out of water. I was scared shitless of you dudes. When I first met you, it's like,
Well,
here
Jimmy,
I am.
You should still be scared shitless. We're some dangerous old men.
That's right.
So, and then I just want to, credit you because I learned so much about punk music through you, and just growing up right after lunch with the PMRC when I was first coming on KUNB. So, just a big shout out to you, and I just wanted to say that.
And those are the only things. I worked swing shift, and I was a partier, and I would, if I had to get up at whatever time it took me to, I would ride my bicycle from Charleston and Torrey Pines down to UNLV to go do my show in the morning sometimes.
Oh, wow.
And I was not a health nut then.
Yeah, but that's all downhill. I mean, as long as you got to ride back.
Yeah, let's see you do it.
Yeah, the ride back's brutal.
Yeah, the ride back is definitely brutal.
Yeah.
But yeah, just cruising down Charleston, but then you have to cut over Maryland Parkway.
I always just took Torrey Pines down to like Flamingo or Tropicana and just cruised it downhill.
When Ken Crow played with the Sausage Hostages, I would pick him up from like Nellis and Twain and take him to the Taco Bell, now the Alamo Studios, on Utah there by the train tracks, and he would ride home. He loved ride. I would have his bike in the back of my truck. He would take that ride all the way home from
What does that have to do with the Atomic Gods?
That's
it just
crazy.
reminded me when you mentioned that you rode that for you. That's two people I know that rode insane distances to do their punk rock. Just wanted to mention.
So speaking of punk rock, so if Sean, you're the founder of Atomic Gods, how'd that come about? About what year?
Oh, God, years.
And how did it evolve into Atomic Gods? Because obviously there's other bands before that, right?
Oh, yeah. The first band I had was F8 with Joe Vegas and Corey Naff and Mark Michaels. And then we all went our separate ways. Joe ran away from home to become a tattoo artist. And
Not before opening up for the Misfits at the old, wherever that place was. I didn't see it, but that was 82.
Wasn't that the Stratosphere? I think Hudak was telling me about that.
That was Social Distortion.
that's a social
Oh, that was
They opened for the Misfits. What was it wasn't Panola's. It was
No.
It was like Room 11 or something.
Okay.
No, it was a one-off thing. It has a different name. There's a book now in Italian about the Misfits that has that show in it. We got found by this guy, Anthony Zuccaro, in Italy, who's an author, and he interviewed us about that show. Because it was kind of a formative show.
It was kind of violent, I heard. There was some.
One person threw some bottles at them, and then Glenn Danzig wanted to take on the whole scene. Like, well,
right.
fight all you mother.
It was localism at its finest.
Yeah, and he punked us, man. Nobody stood up. Backed off.
Yeah.
But a certain someone like dragged all the stuff out of their van and just threw it all around. And
So it was myself and Tony Cernuto were swimming when I lived at Geely's house on La Cañada in Las Vegas. We were trying to write songs together, and I'm 6'6", and Tony is like 6'6", and I said, if we do this band, we're going to be godlike, because we're so big, it'll be impressive. And then that morphed into, we'll be like atomic gods. So he and I were like, in the pool at Geely's house, after rehearsing, and came up with that name. But then Tony went off to be in East Side Fury with Roger, and his younger brother played drums. And so I had the name, and I had some songs, and actually one of those riffs that we came up with ended up being...
We both had the same sounding song, except different lyrics.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. East Side Fury and us. And so, Richard and I started living together over off of Torrey Pines in Charleston at a place that ended up being called the Party Mansion for obvious reasons. And we started rehearsing with the bass player, George Gentekos, that we worked together. We all worked at Batista's.
The hole in the wall?
It was like, that was a place for musicians to get a job.
Yeah, everyone, I remember late 80s, 90s, like everyone I knew that was in the punk scene seemed to like worked
pass
at,
through there.
pass through
Punk rock
Batista's.
employment agency.
Jili from Subterfuge's family's place, and I guess.
Oh.
Yeah.
I ended up being the chef there for 20 years.
Oh, shit.
From 2000 to 2020.
Yeah, when I first met Richard, he was working at
Jack in the Box, right?
Jack in the Box, and I was with Marky and Debbie from Subterfuge, and they're like, "Oh, let's go visit Richard at work." And we drove through, and he was there cooking, and we got food from it was a Jack in the Box on Maryland Parkway.
Oh,
Across from
okay.
Right by the university.
Right.
That was his first cooking job. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he went all the way from that to being like the executive chef of like a landmark fucking restaurant in Las Vegas history. I mean, Batista's is a fucking landmark.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So we started rehearsing at the house that Richard and I lived at, and we got George as a bass player, and then George somehow knew about Alan Strong, who became our drummer. He was a young kid.
He was still in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and let's see, he's not here yet, but he
I was
may
the
show
last
up.
member who joined. I was like by default. Richard's here all the time when we have him sing.
Remember another roommate of ours, Eric Freeman, who now lives in Austin, Texas, tried out to be the singer, but he didn't. It wasn't natural for him. He was very self-conscious about it, and so then Richard came in and tried, and he kind of got the vibe from the beginning. He had like the more natural singer vibe going on, and he was more performative,
Stage
and comfortable.
presence.
Yeah. So then Richard became the singer, and then we had our first show with FSP and the Descendants.
Mm-hmm.
That was
I think VA played as well.
Oh yeah, various artists, which was Pablo
Mike Chin.
from MIA,
Right.
and multiple other bands.
I have a flyer from the show. I've actually have three different flyers from that show on my wall in my bedroom, or my office actually.
Our first show.
Yeah, our first show. For some reason, I guess people wanted people to go, so three different people made flyers for it.
Was that the desert lake bed?
Nice.
Out there, or was
No, it was at like a hall.
Knights of Columbus Hall on
Yeah.
11th Street
In Henderson?
in downtown.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like right off 11th, and
Oh,
and you had to
okay,
go
okay.
upstairs.
No,
It was right off of Fremont in
Yeah.
Ogden or
Oh,
something.
okay.
Yeah.
The Knights of
all
Columbus
right.
Hall, and it was upstairs. We had to haul all the gear upstairs, and then I think we made the stage. It was just like a dinner hall or something, and
Okay.
there was quite a few people there.
There was, it was a packed show. It was an epic show. And I think there's some videotape of one of those shows, but it's so fucking dark you can't tell what's going on. Audio is just chaos. But I remember that.
Was it Beverly that had that?
It might have been Beverly, yeah. Beverly was an integral early scene member. Anyway, so it just kind of evolved from there. We kept on getting shows and kept on opening for bands, and writing more songs. We actually wrote way more songs than I remembered. Now going back, we're trying to like collate them and get them uploaded to YouTube.
Okay.
I'm kind of impressed with how much stuff we actually put out, considering the amount of substances we were ingesting.
It's the kind of substances we were.
Yeah, but you know, for a variety of reasons, you know, we imploded and went off in different directions. Alan played in Righteous Pigs for a while.
Yeah, with Mitch.
Yeah.
I remember them.
Sean played in a couple bands in California.
Yeah.
The Blue Whales was one.
No.
No.
God, I'm gonna have to remember. One was called Noise Bubble. That was my own band, but I played at Weasel and Shoemaker. Was another band I played in out there. It's all original stuff with people in California. But yeah, the Atomic Gods. I don't know. We played a lot of good shows.
We played up the test site. We played in Utah. We played in Arizona. We played in Sacramento and played in Berkeley a couple times at Gilman Street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Arizona shows were some interesting shows. The first one was in this it was like a free-for-all kind of storage unit place where the punkers had taken over, and we would throw shows on the weekends, and it was like we played inside of a storage unit, but I don't remember it really having a roof.
Ceiling. Yeah, it didn't have a ceiling.
Didn't have a roof, and it was like people were like living there. It was kind of like a squat. I mean, the 80s were just nuts. That stuff was going on all over the place. Yeah.
Or Utah, we were playing at a nice hall with like gold curtains, on the stage. But
that was the time we stayed with that girl band. What was that girl band from Arizona?
Oh, in Arizona? Yeah.
Yeah. Fire had something to do with fire. Burning Bush.
Burning Bush, that was it.
Burning Bush. And we did acid after the show.
All of us.
All of us did acid. We were fucking loaded. It was so loaded. I think that was the trip that we saw the bumper sticker that said, if God wouldn't have had invented beer, roofers would rule the world.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, and I was working as a roofer with Danny at that time.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. We've done so much. Oh, remember we played in, what was it, Kingman, Arizona? Not Kingman.
Oh, no. The Havasu at the outdoor skate rink.
We played in an outdoor skate rink. We brought the whole sound system, and then there was local bands that played with us.
Sean did a lot of promoting on his own show.
Right.
Him and Danny were together.
You seem to, me growing up, I just remember your name was everywhere. Oh, yeah, Sean.
Danny did T-Max, which was
But I could never get in anywhere because, one, I was too young. And then even when I was 21, I looked like I was 12 still. So, so it took me a while before I could finally, join in the fray.
These reunion
unless
shows,
it was a desert show. So.
Yeah, these reunion shows have been fun to bring people back together and to play the music, and I'm very thankful that they've happened. I mean, I don't know if they're going to happen anymore, but they've kind of talked about packing it in.
One thing it did for me was it changed my perspective on because I ended up falling into drug addictions, and then I got clean, and then I looked at that period of my life like I was wasted all the time. But I realized, no, we did some meaningful things then. That meant something to somebody.
Right.
We played at the test site to protest nuclear testing and had a song against nuclear testing. And guess what? No more nuclear testing. You're welcome.
So speaking of the reunion show, let's kick it here to a couple of songs that you guys played.
Sounds great so far. God, we're all over the place. Okay, this is where it gets hard. Going back and playing this music, it's just insane to me how fast and complicated it is. That we wrote these songs
Performed them.
Performed them, recorded them, such as it is.
I look like Grandpa. My glasses down on my nose like that. Alan looks kind of buff.
Yeah.
The drums are a little low in the mix. Otherwise, sounds good.
That day I'd gone to see my cardiologist. I was trying to get in before because I'd been having chest pains for like when I walk across a parking lot too fast, and I was like, I didn't want to die up on stage. So I got, I'm trying to get into. Finally, I went that day, and they're like, "You're fine." So, so I didn't move around a lot. I didn't want because I done that the time before, and I was like, got way out of. I was out of shape and got out of breath. I'm like, it took away from the performance, so I just tried not to move around too much, so I could, not lose my voice and.
Let's go Walking Dead. We used to play so all the big golf girls would like us.
Walking Dead, it's about zombies.
Yeah. This is kind of inspired by Slayer a little bit. But it's not a, like Slayer style song. Just the kind of like cartoony horror aspect of it. Like I always thought the metal bands were kind of like so over the top, they were kind of funny.
Well, like 45 Grave and all that?
They're like the Exodus and
Okay.
Yeah. Slayer, even, like, it sounds evil, but it's like
Rain and Blood.
Yeah, it's like so over the top, it's kind of cartoony. Yeah, this one has a little bit of like an oi type chorus in it,
Be careful when they take you apart.
Yeah, it's beefed a little bit. There's plenty of beefs. Yeah, we really owe Jeff a great
Debt of Gratitude.
Debt of gratitude, yeah, for coming in and playing with us because, he helped us like basically relearn a lot of the material.
Because he's in so many bands and plays constantly.
Yeah, he's an active.
George, our original bass player, injured himself. He burned his hand so bad that he can't play for more than 5 minutes, he said.
Yeah.
And it's like he never went to the doctor about it, just like wrapped it up with aloe vera and he picked up a Volkswagen engine by the exhaust pipes when it was hot.
Yeah.
And so he said like he doesn't have feeling in some of his fingers and
Hey, that was a good screen. I got a good screen in there.
all right.
Sometimes they sound.
Yeah. Another thing I noticed about like listening back to this stuff, it's like there's not a lot of room for fun in our stuff. It's very like political and like
Earnest.
didactic, very earnest. Yeah, like we're gonna fucking save the world, and we haven't saved shit. It's like we're dealing with the same fucking crap nowadays that we were talking about fucking 40 years ago. The same fucking Nazi kooks.
It's true. The lyrics are more poignant now than ever.
Right.
Every single lyric from all the songs. Modern Rome is a perfect example.
Yeah, this one is not so much because
It's about zombies. It's called Walking Dead, and there's a show called Walking Dead now. Or was it?
Yeah, I used to play something faster and more complicated, and now I'm just trying to do the basics. Fingers do not move as fast as they do.
Nice goth vocals there, Rich.
Yeah, that's why I've been listening too much of the Typo Negative.
Yeah, we always had an affinity for metal, like we always liked Motorhead and Iron Maiden and
Metallica. And
Exodus, and we bought the records and we went to the shows and we related to it, kind of the aggression and the intricacy and just the heaviness and the speed of it. And
George, our bass player, was a total metalhead.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, and So we tried to be a crossover band to, the best of our abilities, but we were really punk rock musicians.
And I think they now refer to us as thrash. It's like, oh yeah, they were a thrash band. Oh, okay, that's what we were.
Yeah.
Before classification, everything was punk rock to us.
I wouldn't call Atomic Gods thrash. You guys were more traditional hardcore punk.
Okay.
Thrash was
not the New York hardcore kind of punk.
Not necessarily that, but like thrash to me from that scene that I remember was like Pap Smear, Lethal Injection. That was definitely the more metal thrash.
Yeah.
Righteous Pigs too. I mean, that was like the metal thrash metal kind of. Those are two words that went together.
Yeah.
It was like almost
what was the one
that kind of
band?
metal.
DRI.
DRI.
Oh yeah, they had a band called album called
Thrash.
Crossover.
And they had a song Thrash Hard.
Yeah. Yeah, they were kind of like the scene leaders for that one. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would make simpler songs that were more relatable in the future. I don't know. I would try.
I would go the other way. I would make them more complex and more distinguishable.
Or preaching, you got to do this,
And you have to be sober to play it.
We had anti-cigarette songs. That's how
That's right.
Preachy we were.
That's right. They're practically
we had
straight edge, except for all the
another nail in
drugs.
your coffin.
Another nail in your coffin.
These
never
guys
played that one.
they were like straight edge, except for they did lots of drugs.
Yeah.
It was kind of both ways.
We called it Fuzzy Edge.
Fuzzy Edge.
Yeah.
Perfect.
No, that song, Another Nail in Your Coffin, came about from a woman that I worked with. Michelle Schwartz's, she was involved in the scene early on promoting shows over at That's Entertainment and other places. And she was a photographer too. Anyway, I got a job at her dad's Big and Tall men's clothing store because I was big and tall. And I was like helping doing like deliveries and like, cleaning up the store and shit like that. And there was a woman that worked for him who was like this bitter old lady who smoked. And like sometimes I'd have to drive her home from work, like they'd ask me to drive her home, and I forget what her name was, but she was so addicted to cigarettes, like we would stop and buy cigarettes on her way home, and she was just like, one of these like bitter, angry smoker people. And I wrote the lyrics for that song, Another Nail in Your Coffin, inspired by her, by giving her rides home, because I just saw how addicted to cigarettes she was.
Sounds like Kay over at KUNV. She used to be the secretary. Smoked all the time. Rolled her own.
Yeah,
Rolled her own cigarettes?
Yeah, Kay.
It's interesting how much that smoking thing has changed,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's wild. Then also the legalization of marijuana and all that shit. It's like crazy. The stuff you never thought would be possible.
And some of their song lyrics are like kind of cheeky and fun, making fun of things, but they always seemed like a message, whether it be credit card debt or
nuclear annihilation,
or monster truck shows,
or anti-war songs. Yeah,
of course, Reagan songs. Had to have at least one song about Reagan if you were punk rock in the 80s.
Yeah,
ours was called Crucify Ronnie. And we redid it and called it Crucify Donnie.
We don't really advocate violence.
No.
Pretty much on the pacifist end of the spectrum, but if push comes to shove,
By any means necessary.
I'll give a pacifist an ass to kiss. No.
So speaking of punk rock and music, because I ask everybody usually this, what was the first band that made you go, I want to do that?
It was the Sex Pistols. Like I heard the song about the Queen. What the fuck?
God Save
the Queen.
Yeah, and I heard it on the Dr. Demento show.
Oh,
which
really?
Was a comedy radio show
Yeah.
that was on KMET because I was living in California. I was listening to my dad's radio for some reason, and I go, Dad, you got to hear this song. These guys are saying "God Save the Queen," but they don't really mean it. Like it was the irony or the aggressiveness of what they were saying that appealed to me, and I'm like, what the fuck is this, And then I remember seeing a Clash, like a news story that had the Clash in it, and people were like spitting on him and shit like that. I'm going like, what the fuck is this, you know? And then, you know, I started listening to KROQ, Rodney on the Rock,
Right.
and man, that was like a foundational thing. I remember when Darby Crash called him from London to tell him about
New Romantics.
New Romantics. Like he's like, this thing's going off, Adam and the Ants, you gotta see it. And then he came back and he kind of like disavowed hardcore for a minute and was like wearing
paint and like mohawk and
yeah, and became super influenced by that whole New Romantic thing that, you know,
never took off here. And in England, they go through a fad every 6 weeks. You know, it seems
Right,
like.
right.
I mean,
yeah. But like that show, I mean, he would play all kinds of stuff, and I would like write down the names of bands and then go to record stores and just like buy records just because it was the name of the band
or the way they looked on the cover.
or yeah, the album cover. It's like,
It's not like
oh,
anybody
what's
was
this?
reviewing them for us or anything.
Right.
Yeah, it was a super long time.
I think the first time I ever saw punk rockers, after high school, instead of going to college for the first semester, I went to Australia for 6 weeks. I just saved up all summer, and my friend and I went there, and I saw them in the subway station in Sydney, Australia, and I was fascinated by them. And then I started hearing about the music, and heard it. I'm like, I like this stuff. I remember I bought the first Black Flag, not the first, not the Damage, the one with it's got 4 songs with Ron Reyes singing, and I was playing it. It was a 45, but I was playing it on 33 for a long time. I think because it was 12-inch, and I didn't know it was supposed to be played at 45. And then I'm like, someone said, "No, man, it's faster." And I'm like, "Well, that makes sense."
And then when he tried to play side 2 of My War, he's like, wait, it's never fast enough. What's going on?
Yeah, it's been a long, strange trip. That's for sure. Oh my God, so much craziness.
And then other people started hearing about it. I remember in Las Vegas there was a all ages club called Money's on Tropicana and like Spencer, and where Rum Runner is now. And it was upstairs, and it was like all ages, and they would play new wave and punk rock. Paul Schwartz and Nick from MIA were in a band. I think they were called the Screaming Turtles. The only thing I remember is they played I'm a California Man really, really fast. And I went to high school with both of those guys. They both went to Bonanza. So
And they ended up being in.
Oh, you went to
MIA.
Bonanza too?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I went to Bonanza as well.
What year?
I graduated 88.
Okay, I have 79.
Oh, yeah. I graduated there 86.
Oh, shit.
My little brother was David Murphy. He's your age. So.
Oh, wow. Damn. It's like everyone just growing up, like Ruckus went to Bonanza. Of course, he never finished, but.
Anthony Hudak, too.
Huh?
I used to see Anthony Hudak. I would take my girlfriend to summer school over there, and he'd be going to summer school, and he was wearing a Dead Kennedy shirt. Hey, and if you saw anybody wearing a shirt like it was punk rock, like,
Yeah.
you'd introduce
Right.
yourself to him. Hey, what's your name? Tell them what you
Yep.
you knew or something was going on. We didn't have cell phones back then, so everybody would like network to find out where things were happening.
Right.
That's how I met Marky from Subterfuge, because I was going to UNLV and he came to UNLV. We came at the same time, and he was living in the dorms and I was playing football, and we would, have the eating hall, the food hall there. And so I saw him, and we exchanged numbers or whatever. And like, I would take records over to his dorm room, and he would play British records for me, like, stuff that I had never heard of that nobody had here.
Oh, wow.
Like, really cool, early Killing Joke. And then, what's that song? King of Kings.
The
Pack.
Theater of Hate, the Pack, yeah.
The Pack. The Pack became
Theater of Hate, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Sword of Destiny.
Yeah. All these early,
Kurt
punk
Brandon
rock-
was the singer of that band.
Yeah, that was he was a good singer.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was just like, if you saw somebody, you're like, if they're putting themselves out there by wearing punk clothes, they're probably pretty fucking cool, and you have something in common, and you would, try to, because then at that point it's like you had to be prepared to like fist fight construction workers and
Jocks and cowboys.
This is
Like
jocks,
we
man.
couldn't go across the street to Captain America's, but later became PT's Pub or whatever.
Which
Just
one?
because you'd get beat up. So, a lot of us hung out at the Fruit Loop, at the garage, or we bring our records. The DJs would bring our, play our records, like stuff like Soft Cell, Susie and the Banshees, things like that.
Right.
And I same thing happened to me. I met Chris Castillo at UNLV. He's like, both of us looking punk and talked to each other. And I actually went over to his house to like rehearse or like start to form a band, which eventually became Subterfuge.
Yeah.
And I wasn't in it.
Yeah. And Chris was in TMOA too.
Yeah.
After that with Mike Poe and
Mike Conley. Twisted Morals of America.
Yeah.
And now let's go back to the Atomic Gods.
It's called American Way of Life.
I remember I looked at the audience. I'm like, what is this, like Triple B stands for beer bellies and beards? It's like, this looks like a Santa Claus convention out there.
Oh, okay.
The American way of life, living excess, ignore the strife. The American way of life, living excess, ignore the strife. Democracy and capitalism only work when sacrifice the less than learn. The captains of industry are governed. They plan economic trend.
Oh, I just realized the Team X shirt.
Oh, yeah. They were selling them there. Records that was like clearing out his Etsy store.
This was an attempt to.
Because this doesn't sound metal to me.
No.
This is from his first band,
Right.
F8. Very.
We used to play out
Yeah.
the test site all the time, protesting nuclear testing, and wrote a song against nuclear testing, and guess what? They stopped nuclear testing. You're welcome.
I've used that joke before. I'm very good at recycling my
World
jokes.
peace through beer. And that's what this next song's called. World peace through beer. This one's for Pablo.
This is my favorite Atomic God song.
Okay.
And Jeff, like, we'd run into each other at different, Double Down or whatever, and he'd say, if you guys ever need somebody, I'll play with you guys. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't think it would ever happen. And I'm like, he was the first guy I thought of when he said we were going to play and George couldn't play. I'm like, get a hold of Jeff Murphy.
I was a fan of Atomic Gods when I saw him in Maximum Rock and Roll. It was like some issue from 1987, I want to say, because Jello Biafra, I'm pretty sure, was on the cover.
Okay.
He had just won his obscenity trial. And it was a popular issue, and they were inside. And they had the lyrics to Modern Rome written down. And that was sort of my, they had an interview with him, and I was like, oh, I know these guys. These are Las Vegas guys. I know these guys. Didn't know them
from scene
personally,
reports.
but I was a fan from like 87 at the latest,
Oh, wow.
just because of that Maximum Rock and Roll.
Here's a thrash break.
Yeah, a little thrashy here.
And then I'm supposed to solo at some point. I don't know if I pull it off.
There's a part where the sound and the video might collide correctly because we make a mistake coming up. It might work out that way for a second.
We'll take all the happy accidents we can get.
It's the part I was always arguing with Alan about. This part. You can tell the look of what we're all looking around like, are
We all on the same spot.
I'm counting out the one with
And we
my
did
hands.
with like 3 rehearsals. I haven't played in 30 years. We do three rehearsals.
Yeah, that was not enough.
30 years.
Yeah, like since '89, I think was the last time we played.
Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, we played the three. This is our fourth reunion show. We played like one a month, the second one, then 3 years later, then 2 years, 2 years.
It's painful to watch, guys.
I think we're all over the
I felt good about my performance because I didn't forget any lyrics this time. Was well rested. I had eaten well, you could tell.
Just wait till the next one.
All right.
Practice 10 times.
The one 2 times before that, I was like in pretty good shape, so I actually took my shirt off during the performance.
30 years in between performances, huh?
Well, yeah, from '89 till whenever, probably 2010 was
What was the first one we played? It was like 2000.
11 or 12 or something.
I don't know.
I know we played one in
So it's been
2017.
like 10 years?
At least 20 years before, it's 20-something years since the last time you played in the first reunion.
So during that interim, what have you guys been up to?
Working.
Got married.
Married, divorced.
I didn't get divorced.
Yeah. Richard's the steady one.
Yeah, my parents had about 10 marriages between them, so I didn't really believe in the institution. And when I did finally do what I wanted to do it for good, So
Right.
I've been married 27 years now.
Oh, congratulations.
Been with the same girl for 30 years. And I was going to school, and I accidentally became a chef because I was cooking to get through school. And I had a friend say, "Hey, why don't you come work with me?" And the executive chef saw something in me and took me under his wing and kind of made up an apprentice program for me where I worked in every kitchen in the hotel for a month at a time in a supervisory position. Then I just learned how to, but then
That was a station casino.
yeah, and they were grooming me to be the next assistant executive chef, and I saw how much that guy was working, and I didn't want to work as much as I was. It was like no life. Couldn't plan anything. I was I took culinary classes after I became a chef, and then
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was like, got to the point where I was like, I had this notepad so I wouldn't forget stuff, and I was like marking every time I thought about killing myself. When it was up to 15 times a day, I thought something's not right, and so sent a prayer out to the universe, lay something in front of me, and within 2 weeks, Batista's where I first learned to cook, called me up and asked me to come back and be the chef, and I was there for the next 20 years.
Oh, okay.
And I got to spend every Thanksgiving and Christmas with my family for the next 20 years too. So
Nice. So you're going to write a punk rock cookbook?
We've talked about it. We've
Yeah.
talked about doing cooking videos too.
cooking videos, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool, too.
Yeah, so I build websites and help people with online marketing. That's my own little business that I do. And Jeff has probably one of the longer careers out of all of us.
Yes, I am the stereotype holds true that how do you get
To Carnegie
guitar
Hall?
player off your doorstep? You pay him for the pizza. So I'm still delivering food. I've got one foot in that forever because I refuse to grow up. I've got a Peter Pan complex, and work is for jerks, man. If I can't drive around and smoke weed in my car and rock out and listen to Slayer,
You're talking to
I'm
me
not
here.
even going to work, okay?
You're preaching to the choir
You
here.
guys are peas in a pod.
Look,
So-
I'm in this play plan, and
That's as much
And
work
I
as
haven't
I'm
grown
willing
up.
to do is to deliver someone's point A to point B, and
Right.
then I can do what I want. Playing in a bunch of bands has been. I figured out around age 45 how to get paid as a musician. It took me that long, but I'm 56 now, so I've been doing all right the last decade or so. At least as making a career. I don't know if I'd call it a career. I guess I'm semi-pro. I don't know.
Paid, you're a pro.
Yeah, you're totally pro.
I'm potentially pro.
We don't
but
pay
I'm,
him. Okay.
I'm not
We don't-
very professional.
We don't pay him, but he deserves to be paid.
I'm at pro level, but I'm not pro enough because I don't do shit correctly. I don't have a pedal board. I don't want to do a lot of stuff. I want to do shit my way, or I don't want to do it.
fuck
And
the effects.
people that are
I'm just
willing to-
playing.
People that can deal with that, I can play with them.
Right.
If it's too unprofessional for you, then move on to the next,
He's a
professional.
Shredder. He's a shredder.
I'm a specialized semi-professional.
You're
Acquired taste.
you're a shredder hitman.
Well, I wish I could. I mean,
Gunslinger.
You saw the bitters. You know how terrible we're. No, that was
Actually, you know, that was I enjoyed that show.
I saw you guys when you were
fun.
on, man. You rock. I mean, that was
probably
like
my own-
impressed.
I didn't, and I wouldn't have known that you were like, you know, all messed up unless you would have unless you told me, and that's what you
told
did.
Everybody, didn't he?
I know. I made sure everybody knew I sucked that night, but not everybody agrees. I don't know. I know
No, actually, it sounded great.
My band is good normally. I was just super fucked up that night and really
That
had
one
no
time?
business playing that night, especially to be videoed and recorded and everything. I had let myself go way too far. So
It was your birthday.
I fired myself. Yeah, it was my birthday, but I had to fire myself from my own band after that show. But then I rehired myself after the next gig.
Came to your senses?
I got to be fair, you know.
Currently, I work in a rehab as a chef in a rehab. It's a boutique rehab, so I like cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner for like 10 people, where before I was making dinner for 900 people sometimes.
Oh. So, what is your like go-to signature dish?
There's one that I like found at Batista's, and like the chef before me made, and it was just so. It's one that everybody loves. When I was younger, I would like cook it for girls to impress them, and it was where I worked. The people were all like, "How can you make it?" You know, it's called chicken meal. It was named after Geely's mom, after the restaurant owner's wife, and it's just one of those. It was the dish that got me the job where I work now. I made it for the person who was interviewing me, that she auditioned, and she's like, "Ooh, I want more of that. Can we get more stuff like that?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
I think it's the sherry.
It is. It's
Yeah.
the sweetness of it, and then the pop of the lemon makes it light. The earthiness of the mushrooms, the kind of the umami, and then the sweetness of the sherry and the
And
shallots,
it's also got cream.
and the
with a
richness
little-
of the cream. Yeah,
Yes. Yep. It's an awesome dish.
it hits all the points,
Yep. Very satisfying.
and it's rich, but it feels light because of the lemon.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, it's crazy how many band people went through Batista's. Gene Bagley worked there.
Todd Sampson worked there.
Todd Sampson. Yep.
Ruckus even worked there, I think, in the pizza place for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not often mentioned, but Sean is also an excellent cook. I've stayed at his house in California where he's put up the Swank Bastards, and he'll cook for us, make homemade ice cream, and I've never been treated so well on the road than when we stay with Sean. Puts us up and treats us like kings.
It was after I got
So
divorced.
you guys could be the atomic chefs.
Hey,
Yeah. It can be the name of the podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
We still have yet to film our first episode. Do you guys have exhaust fans in here? Maybe we can come down.
well, if you use inductions, you don't need. If you use induction burners, you don't need exhaust fans.
Yeah, we still might burn stuff.
That's true. Just for fun.
So Alan says he's on his way. We'll see if he makes it here enough to get on camera.
Okay. So
And Alan, that's a whole story. There was like him, basically running away from home. I think he was like 16. He was sleeping on our couch with a stripper. And there's way more to that story.
Yeah, probably. There was. I have gone. I remember I went to the Cooler Lounge. This girl walks up to me. Do you remember me? I used to run away to your house when I was 13 or 15. I'm like, oh God.
oh shit.
I think she died though.
No.
Sad.
It happens to the best of us.
Mm-hmm.
So
Survivors.
let's kick here to another song from the Atomic Gods.
This was a special request by Paul Schwartz of MIA.
Straight up, first time I ever got here. I got drunk up here. I took a Tomboy Budweiser with my dad. And at the time I was 16 years old, he figured I was thinking I'd start throwing hands in, so we weren't getting along too good. That day, he told me he
Yeah,
was proud of me, he told me
we
he
used
loved
to
me.
drink incredible amounts of beer. So working in the restaurant, you get what are known as shift drinks. It was part of, the compensation would be that you would get 2 drinks at the end of every shift.
So like 9:30 usually.
Yeah.
They come around. I tended to drink like. Oh, you could give them at 9:30. You could pay for one at 10:30, $1 for it, and you could get another one right when you close at 11. And I was always friends with a bartender, so generally I'd do like triple shots of like vodka and grapefruit juice. So I was usually walking out the back door with about 9 shots of vodka, and that was how the night started.
Yeah, we were ragers, like just fucking.
For a while, I had the privilege of always having my own shift drinks because for about 10 years I was a brewer.
Oh yeah.
So, and my greatest thing was like, I have to drink on the job. It's called quality control.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm not going to like it, then I'm not going to serve it to you. But I gotta always make sure every day it's still good.
It's like tasting the food.
So yeah, that was a great thing about brewing.
You had a brewery, like
Yeah, I worked at Main Street, and then worked at Ellis Island, and then after I got divorced, I left the country and worked in the Caribbean.
Okay.
So and then learned how to make rum down there. So I became a distiller.
I helped a friend open up a restaurant down in St. Thomas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Just went down there, put the menu together, ingredients, shopping list, showed them how to make them, recipes, everything, and then everything goes real slow down there as far as bureaucracy goes.
Yeah, it's soon come, man. Soon come. You learn that one.
So if they weren't going to get the fleet while I was there, open up while I was there, so I just sent them all the stuff, and 6 months later I came back just for vacation because I loved it. And, it was running fine.
Yeah, I lived there for 2 years.
In St. Thomas?
No, I lived in Grand Cayman.
Okay.
So I was like right there, and the brewery distillery was right on the beach. It was great. I loved it. But my drinking went up when I became a distiller. I thought I drank when I was a brewer. But when you started distilling, your drinking goes.
Poking it in the barrel.
Like between every song we're stretching out. We're like, oh, goodness, my gosh.
Yeah, I was getting cramps. I think I was dehydrated. Bad Brains.
It was a Bad Brains song.
Yeah.
We used to do 2 Bad Brains songs. This one and Sail On.
Oh, okay.
On the last reunion show, we were going to do, it was a Discharge song, and RZM did the same song. It was like, didn't talk to the other bands, hey, don't do this song, because we were doing that, the cover. We did like one cover a set, just for fun. And we did it anyway. We did it better.
Yeah, we did.
They opened up, I think, State Control, that's what it was. State Violence, State Control.
Yeah.
Which is like the first new song that we did. Like we'd never done that one before, ever. But I chose something simple and good, and stole our thunder.
This is a very modern podcast. I'm like texting our drummer who's asking questions about how long are you going to be there?
We're almost done. Honestly, we actually are.
Yeah.
That's Alan's bass I'm playing too. I feel like crediting him for the bass guitar I played.
Do you have a bass?
I do.
Okay.
I just didn't ever play it with you guys.
Okay, I knew you had
I could just borrow Alan's shit.
I've been to your house. You have a ton of instruments.
Not really a ton.
I know, but
Couple.
So as we were going down the tail end of this podcast, is there anything you'd like to share? Wisdom? Fuck you? Anything?
I just think,
Screw you, Reagan?
we did what we did because we did a lot of the stuff ourselves. Don't depend on anybody else to like do your record for you or record. Like our first recording was done with a 4-track. I sang in the bathroom so it would have some echo, in the house where we lived in.
That reminds me of like the Bad Brains album. They recorded Black Dot.
Yeah.
It was all in the house, and then they put the drummer in the bathroom.
For the sound?
Yeah.
I think that's
It's
how
just like-
5150 did either the vocals or everything on their first 45, the Murder 101 Forever Night single. I think was recorded in the bathroom of the Underground, or when it was Record Exchange.
Yeah.
I forget what the credits say on the back of the record. Something like that. It's
And
either
Mike
the vocals
Feltz
or
had a
everything.
4-track, and so he came over and we did it, and like that was we just pass them out or tell them.
Record your vocals in the bathroom is what we're saying.
Yeah.
The thing I might say is what goes up must come down. Like drugs have a cost, and I'll
Right.
leave you to figure out the rest. I mean, I don't know.
You know, I've been drug free for a long time. I do my drugs for free. So no problem there.
I love it. I love it.
I want to get a copy of your T-Mex shirt. If you have to give it to Ruckus so he can put it on the screen and make more, let's go with the T-Mex shirts. Or I'm going to rob you in the parking lot.
Okay.
If I see you wearing it. I guess you're not wearing it today, but you're safe for now.
Okay. Thought it was fun.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, no. Thank you very much.
And you know, who knows?
I hope you enjoyed yourself.
And we love playing here. I mean, it was like it's always been fun here. You know,
Except for the no drinks on the last one, that was kind of.
The what?
They didn't give us any drinks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of.
Oh, I didn't know that. Had no idea.
we were the headliners. Damn it! Anybody should
Yeah,
listen.
headliners mean go on at 1 a.m.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
I
That's-
needed a hairstylist. There was no hairstylist available. I needed, you know.
You could have got a hat like you did when you were playing with the bidders.
Well, that was a tribute to Carlos. If I must be the.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the big cowboy hat. And the
Oh, okay.
pink lei and the.
Sweet.
I was
Sweet.
trying to be like Carlos and look that cool. You know, that's what
Yeah, it's funny, like playing in Vegas because bands play like really late. I mean, shit. It's usually what you don't go out until like 10 o'clock at night.
And everybody's
Well, it
old,
used to
though,
be,
and
but
that
now
group of
everybody's old, and I'm like, even I'm like, dude, can we wrap up?
people- Yeah,
I
the
wanna go
fight was
home.
for the middle space. You know, the
Right.
people who had the most power were like,
We got pushed to the margins. Okay, so I guess that's.
Yeah, so we'll wrap it up.
Thank you.
I am the Doorstop, and I've been joined by the Atomic Gods. I want to thank you very much.
"Thank you, Jim."
It has been fun. And is there any future reunion again in the future? Or
Yeah, we'll
We're always
be
available.
open for that. Yeah, we might have to put our own shows together.
we did do a recording. I got to record with him in Hudak's spot. We did 2 songs for the.
Yeah, we might
the record.
re-record
Or
some
compilation.
A
Yeah,
compilation.
we recorded 2 songs. We've talked about recording more, re-recording
That's been
stuff.
a long time. That's like 2015 or something. It's been a while.
oh well,
I still
Yeah,
don't have a
'cause-
copy of that. I need a copy of that shit.
because what Anthony's vamping it up again, isn't he? With his
don't know.
records. That's what I've been seeing.
I
He's
know
been
he's had
posting.
to take it down a notch as far as playing physically.
Yeah.
I wish Ant the best. He's the best. I love Hudak.
Right. Yeah, I love him.
Solid.
He taught me how to record. Off the 4-track.
Yeah.
Way back when.
Yeah, the
so,
party mansion was nearby the Hudak party pad,
Yeah,
which was
right
right
down the
on
street.
like
Alta.
Alta.
Yeah,
and
right there.
Troy
Yeah,
Farms.
right there in the corner of
That
Alta
was-
and
that was
Jones.
the 2 big spots.
I missed that place.
I think the Vermin from Venus guys had a place on Jones there by the freeway too, didn't they? Like,
Yeah.
So there was like that little area had some punk rock enclaves of the.
Yeah, I always said the West Side punks were best.
This is the best.
West is the best.
Sorry, Checo.
Don't
Check
believe
East
the
Side.
East Side hype.
No way. Or even the Hendertucky slums.
East Side
Sorry,
Fury.
Shiloh.
East Side Fury. We'll give those guys a shout out.
Sweet. So once again, thank you very much, and this has been a lot of fun.
Cheers,
Right,
man.
thanks,
Thank you.
Doorstop.
Thank you.
They hoard clouds to control the world. That's what the demands must I do. The blood is the heat, they live on greed. Domination is what they do. To control is their right. 'Cause money is mine and mine is right. Upward social mobility is a fucking joke, just wait and see. And stick you along with Bozo. They seek to maintain the status quo. Humble by consumption of the work you go. Economic freedom you'll never know. Control the means of production. Tax dollars for world destruction. Better and richer from you, from me. Accountability is what we need. Money fuels the welfare state. Building better bombs are sorting fate. The weak, the sick, the poor, the lame. Start a chain reaction for it's too late. is crime. Have not my day to day. Word is if you're blind. Fight back in your own way. Money's work for a better mankind. No better use of our time to make the world a better place. Not some lifeless fallen face. Screaming and laughing much every day. All the bad pigs will get their way. The power number, I gotta say. Gotta make them think in some way. Our modern values are corrupt. And there must be a rush. A bunch of division, collision and mass. Better make a move and make it fast. Better make our move and make it fast. It's only been 40 years, motherfuckers. Round, hey man, you know I'm hey man. Tell you hey man, hey not no. Then I'm hey man, really hey man. Yeah, I'm hey man, hey not no. Fighting at the work all day. In the wind blowing in my face. Flat on the way. Hot day, so I gotta race. Go to buy something some flat. So I go to the 7th store. I should've known that. Everything went in the bum of war. Well, hey there, you know I'm hating. You know I'm hating, not no. Then I'm hating, really hating. Yeah, I'm hating life again. Hey, not no. Then I'm hating, truly hating. Then I'm hating life again. Working hard to make some dough. Trying hard to get ahead. Hey, where'd my last check go? I work so hard now and I'm dead. Am I a worker in a capitalist scheme? I give my life and I take their pay. What does it all mean? Just been one of those days. Just one of those days. I've had those weeks, years, decades. Squamous cell carcinoma. In the air, it's in the water too. In the food, genetically trapped in the way that you live is what's killing you. Oh, it's silent. It's too late. I think it's gone. Foreign presence. Close its eyes. Malignant tumors. Self-divide. In the air, it's in the water too. In the moon, genetically trapped in you. The way that you live is what's killing you. nuclear testing. Hiroshima and Nagasaki were considered the second and third nuclear tests. The final test will be on you and me. Hiroshima and Nagasaki were 2 and 3. The final test will be on you and me. The human race will be history. All because of the thinking on the LIG. It won't matter which side won. The body like the body count can't be done. Conventional games in megatons. They go running into nothing won't that be fun. Because the amount of science all close to home. Out where the safe person not a thing wrong. But it's not enough for them to know. In the final test, the whole world will go. Can you see the flash? Can you hear the roar? Well, it's too late. You are no more. An innocent victim. In a senseless war, it could have been different if you'd spoken up before. Technology's growing faster than our minds. Machines are leaving us behind. But the makers only care about bottom line. They need us to be such a get the bottom line. Not negotiating to the industry. They're not profits, not democracy. How about the advisor to pay for the death box sheet used by today? Deficit tubed into the trillion. Build the economy for generations. When the fundamentals will be ahead, the debt roll, the cancers will all be dead. That's what happened last time too. But you never have to have fun. Change the situation through your actions. Want to make a difference and prove it true. A future can be bright because of now. That's it, man. Thank you very, very much. Really, really appreciate you guys sticking around. All right, y'all, we're going to wrap that shit up right now. Thanks for hanging out with us.